Hey everyone, it's Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. Today we are going to be making a beautiful body butter. But what does a body butter need? Of course it needs all of the ingredients, but it also does need an absolutely beautiful jar and of course a beautiful lid, and that means creating labels. So let's get started. We'll print out my new labels that I have spent the last 3 days working on, and hopefully you love them, fingers crossed. And anyway, let's get going and make something gorgeous. Now here are my absolutely beautiful labels. Don't you love them? We're going to just pop them through a Cricut machine. I get asked all the time which one I use, so this is the one I use. It's like a bronze type one, so this is kind of what it looks like here. Excuse my PowerPoints and things at the back, but I'm actually in my back studio before my shop gets built because we've had absolutely pouring rain in Melbourne, so nothing can be done with my shop at the moment. But anyway, let's get started with these. So here all we're going to do is just press this, and then it's going to start to cut it. So let's go. Now here in front of me, everybody, is my beautiful jar lids, and this is what they look like. So I definitely suggest that you actually spray them all first. We are going to clean them later because of course I don't have gloves on because you can't really use gloves when you're putting these labels. So I actually have my little container that you can just see here, and that is actually 70% alcohol, 30% water, and basically you want to spray everything later on, you know, and make sure everything's gorgeous, and it will sanitize everything. But remember, you can't spray on this, so make sure the outside is clean and everything else, because if you sprayed on that it would remove the color. And no matter what label you get, unless they are totally waterproof, I would not be spraying everything like that. You can do these labels later, but this is literally just to show you. Now, so you can see here, it's printed out on this particular Cricut sheet. Now, the one thing that everybody will notice with Cricut is sometimes you can leave, if you can see, this is a tiny little white line on the edge. This is why I like white lids, because doesn't matter if that little bit's on the edge, nobody's ever going to notice because I'm using a white lid. Now these ones here, to let everybody know, so this is a 100-gram jar lid. I've got these from Heirloom in Australia, and then these stickers that I'm making here, I printed them on printable vinyl. I got this from a company called Rainbow Vinyl. I do also use Scat Cats as well. That is another company that do the vinyl, and the only reason I didn't use them is they'd ran out, so I had to go somewhere else. But I do use both of those companies for the vinyl. I just print it out on my normal HP. There's nothing exciting about my printer. It's not expensive. It's $69 from a department store, so I definitely don't have anything super duper fancy for anyone wondering. But you know, eye appeal is buy appeal, let's be honest. So if you have a gorgeous label, you are going to get gorgeous sales. That is just the way it works. And also, make sure your name is a bit fun on here, you know. Like one of mine is called Gorgeous. It doesn't have to say lavender. You know, like obviously, you know, you might have a tag or something that says like lavender inspired or something like that, but don't feel like you need to label it lavender just because it's lavender. Now you can see how perfect it fits on here. It's really perfect. You could go 7 centimeters to the edge, but I don't like to go right on the edge because we don't want to overhang, because then the sticker doesn't look as neat. Oh, and I don't know whether I said, but these are 6.8 centimeters across, and of course it's a circle. You know, you could do one a lot smaller if you want, and you are going to fit 6 of these on a you know, on a vinyl A4 sheet. So you could try and squeeze something else, but I don't really think you'd squeeze much more in than that. And to get it to cut perfect, that's what I want to do. This one here is called Glamorized, and we are just going to pop that on there. And once again, doesn't it look beautiful? So, you know, look, you can create your own, and make sure you use your own colors. So I spend a lot of time making my color exact. Make sure you get all the lumps out, because I can see there's a tiny little air bubble. You can, if you've got Cricut tools, you can definitely use the scraping tool on that, but you can use even a business card just to scrape any lumps and bumps out. And now this one here I am calling Hey Lovely, because I often say that, and I had one of my Patreon subscribers say to me, oh, you should make something that says, hey lovely, I'd buy it. So I thought, great idea, let me just come up with something. So this one here is called Hey Lovely, and that's what it's going to be. Now, I am also going to be making some body butter in today's video. So now we have these ready. They're looking beautiful. I do have to put the tab, so around the edge, you know, the bands. I've made them in exactly the same as these. And anyway, and I hope you love these new ones. Look, and this is the thing I'm going to tell everybody before we get started on the body butter. It's really important that you just keep, you know, updating and changing, and then once you're happy with everything, then that's good. But many people will tell you it takes them years and years to finally be 100% happy and love their product. Many times I've loved it but not totally loved it, and I've gone back and forward making things. So never be scared to change the way you do things. Never be scared to change a font or change your style or your look. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, I just thought, look, I really want to add that, and I really wanted to have a gold rim, but honestly that would mean I'd need to get these professionally made, and they would just cost too much money, and I don't sell thousands of body butters at all. I do sell a good amount, but not thousands, so I'm just not ready to get these professionally made yet. I do have some beautiful ones that I got made from Long Story Short, and they are actually on my lotions. But anyway, today is not about lotion. Today is about making this body butter. So now let's get going, and we will make a gorgeous butter. Now let's start making our body butter. So we're just going to make a really small one of about 200 grams, but this one here is a little bit different to my normal one. So usually when I actually make my body butter, I put a lot more into it. But the one thing I've definitely noticed is, number one, it costs a lot more money when you're actually making these sort of things, and especially for me where you sell it. People just don't want to be paying a huge amount for body butter. So the one thing that I've definitely decided to do is I'm just cutting down my recipe and taking a few things out, but it's still an absolutely gorgeous body butter with things like organic shea butter, some gorgeous jojoba oils and so on in it, and of course some hydrolyzed oats and lots of beautiful things. But anyway, I decided to try and make mine a little bit more simple because it was very complex, you know. But anyway, now let's get going. So in here I do have my distilled water. So in here I'm going to be adding in 96 grams of water. So it's just, like I said, it's distilled, and all of my jugs and everything have been sanitized. Super, super important. Now to this, we're going to add a few things in here. So I want to add some glycerin. So let's go and put 28 grams of glycerin in here. We will tear out my scale again. So let me just carefully pour this in. If you're worried you'll make a mistake, just put it in a separate container. But, you know, I just pour it very slowly. You know, you can't make much mistake if you do it slow. But, you know, I've made this body butters for a long time. So you just get better and better all the time. So don't hate yourself either, everyone, if something goes wrong. Anyway, so we have added that in, haven't we? Everything is beautiful in there. And what I do is I literally just pour everything in there until the end. Now, I do have these beautiful hydrolyzed oats. This is gorgeous. This is going into the water phase. So I am going to add this in. If I can take the lid off, and I am just going to be adding in 1 gram of this. So it's just a little bit goes a long way in this particular product. So we're going to gently pop it all in, and that is enough into here. And so this is so that's at about, you know, look, 0.5% of that, but you can add more or less, depends on how you want to actually do it. Now also another beautiful thing we're going to add in here is this absolutely gorgeous gel. So this is an aloe vera gel. Doesn't it look just divine? So let's just add some of this in. So we're going to add 6 grams. Let me just tear out my scale. Now if you do grams, you need to do everything in grams. That even means the liquid portions. And if you're going to do it in mils, keep your mils on here and everything gets measured in that. But I definitely suggest grams. So now, like I said, we're going to do 6. So we're just going to very slowly pop 6 in. a tiny weeny bit more. And look, if you make a mistake and you go 1 gram over with my recipe, it's not going to be a fail. It will still be fine, so don't stress. So now we will just use this, give it a bit of a mix, and you will notice straight away when you put things like glycerin in, it's going to thicken it up. So when we put it on the double boil, we will just keep giving this a tiny stir, but nothing too much. You know, it's fine. So you can see it just looks, you know, just like your typical liquid in here. So we've added everything in this pit that we want. So now I'm going to set this one aside, and now I'm going to bring my second one on. So this is a different jug, even though it looks exactly the same, it doesn't have anything in. This is going to be our oil phase. So oil phase is not just oils, it's also your emulsifiers. So just remember, everything like that that's going to be heated up is going into this portion. And if you look at making emulsified body butter, as you know, it's quite easy. It's really just got your water, you know, your water phase, and then you've got your oil phase, which is the heated phase of all the heated things you're going to heat up. So anyway, let's start with this one here. So I'm going to get my products here. I keep them in big containers over here. And you know, you can buy these in sort of bulk or not, but this is how I bought my ones. So now we want to add, let me just tear this out as well. Make sure everything's always torn out, because you know, it does need to be right. Too much emulsifying wax will make it, it will just make it too sticky, and it won't feel nice on the skin. It will drag a lot as well. So in here we are just going to add 8 grams. I think I said 4, but it's actually 8. So that is fine. So, and this is emulsified NF, which means national formulation. Now you can actually, there's so many different ones, so do a bit of homework. I actually get that one from Heirloom in Australia. I've used it for quite some time. It's very good. But there is many other ones as well. There's one called I think it's Olive 100. I can't remember. I've used that, and that's really good too, but that has different things added. It's not a straight formulation. So anyway, like I said, we have added that one in. We're going to also add 12 grams of cetyl alcohol. So let's just tear this out again, just so that we're good. I mean, I could easily have added it onto that, but it's just really important to keep trying to, you know, just tell yourself to do everything the right way. And force yourself to do a process, so that, because I often get people say to me something hasn't worked for them, and I always ask them, well, what is your process? And 9 times out of 10 they will tell me they've changed things in it. And I always say, if you change something, that's fine, but just do testing, because it may not work. And what may work for me, because my process may be different, may not work for someone else. So that's really important to remember as well. But anyway, we've added in the 2 waxes now. So now we are going to go and add in all of the other things. So in here, I do have 30 grams of premium coconut oil. You can buy this at your local shopping centre. It's nothing super duper fancy or exciting, you know, but it does feel beautiful. If you don't want to use it, you can change this for another oil. But once again, testing, even if you're using my exact recipe, please test. Don't go selling it without testing. It's really important. Now we're going to be adding in 8 grams of jojoba oil as well into this. So, and I'm just going to pour it in, because 8 onto 42 equals 50. So that's fine. So that's in that. I actually get my jojoba oil. Usually I get it from a couple different companies, but I've been buying it from Pure Candle Supplies, and it's very, very good. I really do really love it. So anyway, you don't need to mix it. I just feel like I have to. Funny, isn't it? You know, because I'm used to doing this. Anyway, so now we have added in all of the things we need except for the shea butter. Now I use an organic shea butter, and it has been certified as organic through Deluxe Shea. So that's where I actually buy mine. It's unrefined as well. So let's just grab that and we'll add it in. So we are going to add this in, and this is what it looks like unrefined. Isn't it beautiful? It has a real yellowy, very natural kind of feel. So All shea butters are not the same, everybody. There are differences as well, so please make sure that you understand there are total differences. So anyway, we will pop this one away now, and let's get on to the next. So anyway, this one is looking a bit beautiful, isn't it? This is going to go on the heat phase. So this one and this one, the water phase and the oil phase, are going to go on the heat together. I'm going to organize all that and I will show you. I'm going to pop everything else away that we have used. But we do need to remember later on, there's a couple things that we're going to be adding into this as well. So I will show you this as we go along. So we are back, everybody, and you can see here I'm actually doing the double boil method. So I do have 2 little saucepans sitting here, or fry pan things I should say, and then of course I have water in them. You don't have to use distilled water in here, obviously you do inside your product. So we're just going to turn this on medium. Now one thing to remember is oil is going to get hotter than water, and basically we want them to be a similar temperature when we take them off. So usually what I do is I actually have the water on a higher temperature, and I'm just going to take that little stick thing out that I had in there before. I am actually going to be putting a little wrap on it. You can put a bowl, a plate, anything on the top. You just want to help it to so that it's not losing too much water. Look, and at the end, you know, look, you'll see lots of people, what they do is they weigh everything up, and at the end they're going to add a little bit of water in, but basically they're only going to add a couple drops in. It usually is not going to lose more than a few drops, but you know, do your research on that and how you like, and you know, just remember that there's different processes. Don't be stuck too much on one process. Just to have a test and see what's right for you, because you may actually find that you do things a little bit different to me, which is more than fine. So don't worry about that. Anyway, so we are going to leave these till they melt down. Once they melt down, I will bring you back and then I'll show you how easy it is, because we're literally just going to mix all of this up and see how beautiful it is. And then I'll show you how to add the fragrance and all of those extra things that we need to do. Anyway, we will let it do its thing and I'll be back in a moment. So now we are ready to go, everyone, and I'm sorry if you can hear my noisy cricket machine in the background, but it is going crazy doing what I need it to do. So here we have our water I've taken off, and I'm just now got my oil that is here as well. So all we're going to do is literally pour the oil into the water, and you'll be able to see it's already going to change that kind of color. And so immediately we are going to literally just scrape everything into here. You don't need to worry too much, and we can scrape the side off, that's fine. And now let's get going and it will start to do its job. So we're only going to pulse this for about 30 seconds and that's it. So it's as simple as that. That's literally all you're going to do. So try not to overdo it, and you'll be able to tell straight away, even though it looks very liquidy, it will start to thicken up soon. So now literally we're going to take this out. It's nothing too exciting, and then once we do all of this, you'll start to see everything slowly thickening up, and so then you can literally use your spoon just to thicken up your mixture, and that's literally all we're going to do, which is a little exciting, isn't it? Because, you know, often you know, you see a lot of these videos and people are pulsing and pulsing, but you know, it can actually ruin your mixture. So try not to do that. Try and be good. And even if this looks thin at the end, it's only in a couple days time that you'll really see how thick it's going to be. And that is super important. So it's really important. I definitely have not finished with this, because do remember we also have to have it cooling down, and then we're going to add some beautiful products in it as well, and you know, put the scent in. But of course, if you don't want to add a scent, you definitely do not have to. So I'm going to keep going with this, and when it's all ready, I will bring you back, and then we are going to go and add in our little extras. Hey everyone, in the middle of doing this, I thought I have to show you this. Can you see how delicious this looks? I've actually added a tiny bit of pink mica, and when I say a tiny bit, I mean like just the end of a toothpick, like a really little bit. But you can add whatever you like if you want it to be colourful. But because my brand's pink, I thought, well, maybe I should keep them pink because, you know, I just thought it matched anyway. So it's still cooling down, and now today we're going to use a different preservative. So we are going to be using this one here, Liquid Germal Plus. Now this one is a great one. It's very good, very stable, but you need to add it in at the right temperature and the right amounts. You need a lot less of this one in comparison to some other ones as well. So I will show you here if you can see on the corner of the screen, but it does say here the usage rate is 0.1 to 0.5%. So you need to add up your ingredients and work out what that's going to be. So that means we are going to be adding less than 1% into our mixture today. So we're going to add that in. We're also going to add this beautiful product here. So this product here is dimethicone silicone, and this one does add a beautiful slip. A lot of them, if you have a look at the back of a lot of products, they have this in it, and I started using this after somebody advised for me to use it, and it's super good. You only need about 0.5% of this. You know, you can add up to more, but it depends on what you want. But we're going to add you know, about 0.5% of this, and that's going to be gorgeous. So I'm going to put my gloves back on so I don't touch anything, and then I'll clean them up a bit, and then we're going to add that in, but we'll wait just a little bit longer for the preservative. So now we do have our dimethicone here, which I'm going to add into this, and I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but you know, pronouncing these things is not my jam really. Anyway, we're just going to add a very small amount. As I said, it's only going to be like 1%. Sometimes it's hard because your scales may not even pick them up. So sometimes my scale won't even pick that up, and you know, that's fine anyway. And then all you're going to do is just gently mix it in, and this is going to add a gorgeous silky feel to this. Look, there's other products you can use if you want to keep everything 100% natural. Then just have a look around for different products if that doesn't suit you. And now I know that it's fine for me to add in my preservative now, so let's go and add that in as well. Like I said, you know, it's, you know, for this particular recipe you need to add in a small amount, but of course we're going to make sure we fix this so that we know exactly what's going to be added in. Let's just add this in. As I said, it's only a small amount. We don't need a massive amount of this one, but you do need to add the right amount in, and you don't want to add too much because it can actually curdle your recipe as well. So that's all we're going to add. It's only a very small amount in here. If you use Optifin Plus uses a higher amount than the one that I've just used in, which is Liquid Germal Plus. So now look, you can see how thick it is now. This is going to be super thick tomorrow. I promise you it will be super thick. And you know, look, let's be honest, you don't want a body butter that is runny. You want it to be thick. I don't know anybody that would actually really want this to be thin. So it's very important. So now we've added that in. The last thing we are going to add in is, of course, we are going to add in our fragrance. So let me organize that because I forgot that. So I have to go and get that off a different shelf. And then we're going to add that in. So now I'm going to add a beautiful floral scent in. So let me just see what I can get because the bottle is almost empty. And we're going to add this in. So you can add this in at 1%. Some will let you add up to 5%. But definitely only add in what you're allowed to. So each fragrance oil is totally different. They're all made up of different materials. And just because one will say, for instance, rose on one, it doesn't mean that you can use the same one on the next one. Because, you know, different suppliers have different names for these things as well. So I've added that into here. Let's mix this one up. And of course, your fragrance oils and things like that, they would definitely loosen up your mixture. So you need to make sure you add it in and mix it super well. Now, if I'm going to be really honest, my preservative that I use, I definitely prefer to use Optifin Plus. I don't know what it is. It's just one that I really like. It's just me personally. Now, you can add vitamin E in this as well. I am going to add vitamin E because I just feel like it's a lovely, luxurious thing to add in. But, I mean, look at this. Does that not look silky beautiful or what? So anyway, to me that is absolutely gorgeous. If you feel that you make something like this, because this is going to be thick, I can tell, because already it's still just warm to touch, but it's already super duper thick. So this will be really thick in a day or two. And this is the thing, you might want to make a really small amount and, you know, of your mixture, and then literally sit it in its jar, open it up on day 1, then open it up on day 2, day 3, day 5, just so that you can see if this is too thick for you or whether you want it thinner. But personally, I think it's beautiful, you know, but like I said, you know, tomorrow is the next day, and then that's when we're going to see how perfect it is. Because although you want body butter to be thick, you don't want it to be so thick that you have to really dig and chunk into the jar. So that's super important, as I said. But anyway, for now, I think we have almost finished, haven't we? So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of vitamin E, and then I will come back and we will actually put this in the container. Now, I thought I would show you, this is what my containers are going to look like. Don't they look lovely with the new borders on them? So we're going to open it up. I have already sanitized inside this, and then we are going to add some body butter in this one. This is a test one, so this one is not a sale one yet, but they will go on the website super duper soon. So let's just tear this out. Remember, if you get these new containers, it's super important that you do the right thing and sanitize them. So here we go. It's looking a bit beautiful, isn't it? And all I'm going to do is add this in. If you're selling your products, it's really important that you weigh everything. Don't just think, oh, well, I won't weigh it. It doesn't matter. It does matter. And for me, I'm selling this in mils. So you can turn your scale, you know, to the right volume, whether it's grams, whatever you're going to do it in, because it's going to weigh it up anyway. And it's going to be beautiful. I mean, it looks just so divine in here. If I was to buy this, I would love it, especially because it's pink. It's so my jam. I know you all agree that it is my jam. And this is the thing too, you know, don't get a jar and then you only fill it half full. Even if you state that it's 50 grams, people will say, no, that's half full. Even though you know you've put the right amount, I definitely suggest getting a jar and filling it to the right amount. That's really important, otherwise people complain. So there you go. Doesn't it look darling? It is actually done beautiful, and I'll give it a bit of a tap. And I never put the lid on for about half an hour. I let it totally cool 100% so that you're not worried about any germs or growth. But for now, it's looking perfect, isn't it? So I hope you love it, and let's just make this one gorgeous. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you feel that you love this video, why not give me a thumbs up and join me over on Patreon. I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends.